So we need an external or an internal support system that's going to actually one-on-one be a safe space for people to come to and say, listen, this feels unfair. And while that may sound trivial, if someone tells you this is unfair, they are giving you the keys to the castle to solve the problem. They're focused on fairness. Okay, so to solve the problem, how can I make this feel more fair? And just listen. And they're likely going to give you a pretty actionable and often really small thing that you could do as an employer to help them know that you hear them and that they matter to fix that. Now, someone else may need to feel that they have control over the situation. So you just can simply ask them, what would give you a feeling of control over this? And work with them to try to conquer that so that they feel like they have what they need to meet the challenges. Because there are serious consequences to our employees if we don't give them this gift of self-awareness, not only for them, but also awareness of how the company is functioning, how the entity is functioning, because we know that it can lead to apathy, depression, headaches, gastrointestinal issues, issues with sleep and stress, affect their home relationships, and even affect how they're eating, potentially misuse of substances like alcohol and other substances like drugs. So it can really have big effects on people's lives because it's not a short stress that they can just overcome. It's not a bad day at work. When we're talking about burnout, we're talking about a systemic issue that's not being addressed. It's not getting better. And people do not cope well with chronic stress. It has to be addressed eventually.
Man, you're all in my notes, awesome, which is awesome. But I was going to read a couple of statistics. You got, according to a Gallup study, 76% of employees experience burnout on the job, and at least with 28% experiencing burnout very often or always. And just to
Yeah.
give you some examples of the symptoms that you started to talk about already is depression. That's one thing that affects people in the workplace, and also that burnout can affect your bottom line drastically. I
Yeah.
think it's 41% reduction in productivity for your company if you have a chronic problem with burnout in your business. So I'm glad that you said a couple of things.